Hi, I'm Johnny Knight,
Hi, I'm Leah Gold.
and welcome to
Til Design Do Us Part,
a podcast for interior lovers,
DIY doers,
people who just have differing opinions.
or a divorce pending.
Let's see.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of Til Design
Do Us Part.
Now, this episode's a good one. I'm very excited. This one, the episode we've called it, The Beauty of Thoughtful Design.
Oh, she sounds elegant.
She's a classy gal.
She's
This
timeless.
episode. Yep. Timeless diva.
Timeless diva.
Welcome to our podcast. And for those of you who have not listened yet, why are you living under a rock? Come on. You've got a few episodes to catch up on before you get to this one.
Exactly, we can binge some episodes.
That's true. But if you're new here, welcome. This is an interior design podcast designed to bring people together.
Interior design
Designed to bring people together to talk about all things interiors and be fun, light-hearted, have a mess around with us. Little chin wag, me and Leah.
Me and Miguel.
Me and Miguel Leah, me and my wife. That is why we're called Til Design Do Us Part, because we are the husband and wife interiors duo.
Exactly. And this week we are going to be talking about why we're all craving maybe calmer homes and thoughtful design, and really that sometimes less is more.
Exactly. And I think that's something that we can all resonate with, and super exciting that we've got a really cool guest on today. But more about that in
I was
a
going to
second.
say, and that is, but no.
No, we'll come back to that in a very short while. But I guess if you don't already, give us a follow. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Til Design Do Us Part. Also follow us on YouTube to watch our beautiful faces as we talk all things interiors.
Exactly. We don't just get dressed up for no reason.
Hey there. Yeah, we're not wearing these outfits for no reason. But yeah, listen to our podcast wherever you get them. Spotify, Apple, Amazon, whatever. We're on all.
All streaming sites available.
All streaming sites available.
But yes.
Let's have a catch up. What have you been up to this week?
This week has been very busy. Some things I can't talk about.
Shtum.
Secretive.
Oh, okay. Can you give us any inkling, any tease about what it might be to do with?
No.
Or is it really just,
No, none at all. Sorry. And for those who keep messaging me on Instagram, there is a supper club pending.
It's about a supper club.
I told you, no teasers. But there is a supper club coming up.
Yay!
And hopefully it'll be in London. Glasgow, sorry, you're going to have to just wait a little bit longer. But I am coming. So yeah, supper club prep. People think that the supper club is like just a one-night dinner. It's like weeks and weeks of work.
Honey, the last one was...
Well, you will know fine well. Just to set up the table took 6 hours. So...
in 38-degree heat.
hopefully no more repeats of that.
Yes. Oh, well, that's exciting. Super cool.
So if people subscribe to the newsletter, because everyone keeps going, when is it? I don't want to miss it. They can subscribe to the newsletter, which will be just to tell them about the supper club. Yep. Also, there's no spam involved. I don't have time to make spam. So I ain't sending you...
the supper club.
Yeah, I ain't sending you anything else. It's just supper club related. Yeah. So people can subscribe to that on leahgoldinteriors.com.
Nice.
What about... Sorry. And what have you been up to this week?
This week, I've had a pretty chilled one, but I've been trying to do a bit of work on decluttering.
Right. Does that lean into this episode at all?
It kind of does, but I have been trying to do some decluttering because our house is just a joke. Honestly, there is so much stuff. You know, when you like get overwhelmed by how many things you have, that you sort of lose track of like what you've got and what you don't have. I was like in my wardrobe the other day and I was like, oh my God, I've got so many, like not even clothes, like in the bottom of my wardrobe, I've got like a stash of staging bits for like when I like, you know, like when you're dressing a space for whatever.
Yeah.
But like I had like 6 vases in the bottom of my wardrobe and I realised why they're there.
Because you don't need them.
Nope, they're hidden from my husband.
Oh.
Sorry, Chris, if you're
It's
listening.
like when you used to hide cigarettes in your drawer when you were a kid. Yours is just vases in the wardrobe.
That's my addiction, is vases, and they're in the bottom of my bottom of my wardrobe, so my husband doesn't see them. And he's like, "Why have we got so many vases?"
You just hide them in the wardrobe.
I do have an addiction to buying. I nearly said I have an addiction to jugs, but if anyone knows me, that is so not true. There's zero addiction to jugs here, but porcelain jugs, yes. Ceramic jugs, yes. Other jugs, no. Anyway,
no addictions to those. Anyway, we'll put the jugs behind us for today.
Anyway, yeah, that's what I've been up to. So let's just move on.
Just
from
juggling
that one,
jugs.
But yes, that's kind of what I've been up to this week. Pretty chilled week, but yeah, needed, one would say, decluttering.
Yes. I decluttered and all the vases are gone, as we spoke about before.
Any jugs?
I've got 2 lovely jugs left, but those aren't for sale.
Damn. I'm interested. Okay, well, listen, we're going to segue straight into our red flag, green flag. And this edition is a bit of an inkling as to who we might have on as a guest, because this is the Japandi edition.
A Japandi edition of green
I
flag,
wonder
red flag.
who it could be.
Well, you'll have to listen to us for 5 more minutes before you find out.
Okay, so red flag, green flag.
Yes.
Less is really more.
Can I be an amber flag?
No. Listen, we've had episodes in the past where you have said no amber. It's got to be red or it's got to be green.
But for this one...
Okay, why? Tell me. Please state your case.
Yeah. Right. Because
Order in the court.
love lots of things, right? I do own lots of things. But then I do get to a point where I've got too many and then I have to declutter.
Yeah.
But I still have a lot of things at the end of the day. So I think I'm an amber because I like having lots of things.
And what about, I guess, in the world of interiors, when you're styling a space, when you're like, before you step back and you're like, I feel like you did do that on the show a couple of times where you're like, no, I'm going to take that out because maybe it was less is more.
Yes.
Because, you know, I'm thinking of one in particular when you were at the shop and you took off your floral arrangement at the last minute.
I did take off the florals. That was too much. So in that case, less was more.
So
but
I would argue it's a green flag.
But I think in your home is different. Like I've got lots of little like wee trinkets or pictures or random stuff that I bought on holiday because I love the memory attached to it. So I have lots of little things like that that I don't want to get rid of.
True.
But then there's also sections in my house where I'm like, oh my God, that unit is giving me anxiety, and then I sell all of it and then I've got one thing left, but then I'm like, oh, it looks really bare now, and then I want to put more stuff on it. So I'm going amber.
Okay. I would say green. I think that less is more to me doesn't actually mean like less stuff out sometimes. It just means I like the idea that it's channeling like you at the shop week. I think it's about being intentional. And sometimes we just often our instinct is that we throw things, or we don't throw things, but we put things out there, and then sometimes it's too much and you step back and you're like, oh, actually, no, I need to maybe take 1 or 2 things off that shelf.
Yeah.
This a bit cluttered. So I think that sometimes less is more because there's a difference between being intentional and feeling cluttered. I like the idea that it's not always just too much everywhere.
Okay.
So I'm green.
So you're green.
I'm green. So we
Well,
disagree.
it's not a divorce because I'm not red. I'm just amber.
No, and I think I think deep down you are green, but you're just fighting it. Your maximalist instinct is coming in, being like, oh.
Amber.
Okay, number 2. A calm home has to be neutral.
Red. Sorry, easy. Red. I mean, I think this comes down to the person.
Yeah.
And what is calm to you? And do you need calm in your home? I do not need calm in my home. I need to be motivated. I need to be energized. And for me, that's what colour brings.
Yeah.
Colour brings the energy.
I would argue that it is calming to you, right? So calm means a load of different things. If you're energized and you're motivated, in turn, you are actually calm because you're in a space that feels like you.
Yes, but it's not neutral to me.
No, exactly. Yes, you're so right. But it is calming. I guess
my colours are calming to me, but I can understand why people might think it's not calming.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I would argue that, you are wearing a whole white outfit.
That's because this is an
calming.
appreciation for our guest today. Okay?
We dressed
I
for
have
the guest here at Til Design Do Us
myself fully for the guest today.
Okay, very good.
I'm appreciating what she is about and what we're here to talk about today. So I thought I would channel that and it would make for a greater conversation.
Very good. Okay, well, in my opinion, I think a calm home doesn't have to be neutral. But I personally like neutral colours and I do find them quite calming. But I can see how a colourful home can also be calming to somebody else. I think calm is about whatever feels calming to you. And I don't always necessarily think that means white walls everywhere. I actually think arguably that's not calming either.
Subjective.
Exactly. So what colour flag is that then? I guess red flag, isn't it?
For me is a red.
Yeah, I would say I agree on that because I don't think it has to be neutral. But doesn't mean I don't like neutral. It just means it doesn't have to be neutral.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay, next one. Homes are meant to be lived in, not styled.
It's a balance, I think. I think it's an amber flag. In the words of Leah Gold, amber flag. Can I do an amber flag? Yes, I think we can on
I
this
had a
one.
valid reason for an amber flag.
Yeah,
though.
I would argue it's a valid reason. I think that you can have a styled home, but I also think you can have a lived-in home. And I think there's a balance between the two. I don't think it should be styled so much that it's like a show home and you walk in and you can't touch anything.
Yeah.
But I think there's an element of we like to style our shelves, or we like to, dress our windowsills with bits on, or whatever it might be. But also, I think that homes should have an element of feeling lived in. And I think that they should be. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't like the idea that you walk in, it can feel clinical if it's not lived in, I think, personally.
I also think people don't relax if they come to your house and it's like, I don't want to put one thing out of place. Because that person will be like, don't touch that, or don't move this. But I also do love, like, when I've cleaned the entire house and everything is perfect. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, like my house is chaos all the time. There's something therapeutic when you tidy everything and it does look perfect.
When you
but
clean
it's not
a
realistic.
house, you clean a house and you step back and you're literally like, oh my God, I actually don't want to touch anything in this house because I don't want to make it messy because I love how clean and tidy it is.
Yes. Then your other half comes in and bulldozes their way right through it and it's trash.
Although I can't be, that's probably me. I do usually do the bulldozing, not Chris. So it's probably...
I never go bulldozing. I am aiming this entirely at my husband, Ben.
Sorry, Ben.
Sorry. Actually, not sorry. Maybe don't do that. Anyway.
So I think that actually might segue us onto our guest slot where we can finally tell you who we've got coming on.
We can reveal.
Ooh, drum roll.
Who it may be.
We are so excited to welcome the one and only Cate St Hill, who is the author of The Japandi Home and self-proclaimed minimalist.
Yes.
And talk to her all about the art of thoughtful living.
Can't wait.
Let's
Please
do it.
welcome Cate St Hill.
Woo! Right, well, we are so excited. We are welcoming a very, very special guest with us today. We have got the one and only Cate St Hill with us today.
Welcome, Kate.
Hi.
Thank you. I'm very honoured and I'm very pleased to see you've brought me a green striped chair, which feels very on brand, so thank you.
We're always wanting to please our guests,
There
so
was
we've
no
filled in all the
expense spared
stops.
here for you, Kate.
Thank you.
But welcome to the pod. We are so thrilled to get to chat all things thoughtful design with you because we thought, who else could we talk to about this than you? Because you are the queen of, I would imagine, coming up with interior design. I guess, start again. Where's your thought process in the interior design? Do you go right even before the design even starts? Is that how your thoughtful design process starts?
Yes, so my style is very much on the minimalist end of the spectrum. And I think naturally that involves a more mindful way of thinking about how you design a space. Not that maximalism isn't mindful or thoughtful, but I think it's in the sense of minimalism, it's more about designing for all the senses rather than just what it looks like and using an explosion of colour and texture with something a bit more thoughtful. You're thinking about how you feel in the space, how you experience the space, and the touch, the tactility of it, and all the other senses you experience the space with.
Okay, amazing. So talk to me more about, I guess, your journey to figuring out that was what you liked. Where did you find your style and how did you get into the world of interiors?
So I studied architecture originally and took quite an unconventional journey to doing interiors. You don't actually need to have studied interiors to become an interior designer. And when I was working in an architecture practice, I just felt there was a mismatch between the building and who was actually using the space. And interior design really appealed to me because I thought it's a bit more immediate, you can have a more immediate effect. And I found it really rewarding knowing that the person using the space, that it would affect their everyday life or how they feel in a bit more of a meaningful way than when you're a bit more outside the building as an architect, looking at it from a bigger level.
It's a lot more personal, I guess, that approach in interior design is really understanding the client first and what they want. I guess from architecture, it's more the building needs kind of coming first.
I was going to say, how would you, if for somebody who doesn't know the difference between architecture and interior design, how would you describe that to somebody?
So I would describe it as you take the house, you turn it upside down, you shake everything out. That would be the interior design.
I love that. I love that. Whereas, salt and pepper shaker of interior design. That's all of your interior design covers there.
Whereas the house itself is the architecture. But then I think that interior design is so much more than just adding a decorative cushion. I like to think of it as a bit like therapy for the home. When you're designing a space, you're not just thinking about the look, but also how you use the space, how you flow through the space, how you want to feel in the space. And all of that comes together to help you feel good or joyful or inspired or calm or relaxed. So it's not just the little touches you add at the end, but the whole holistic thing which comes together to create somewhere you just really want to be in.
Yeah, totally. I love that as well, holistic, that word. Because actually, I think that is exactly what interior design should be, really, isn't it? It's holistic, because I think it should encapsulate all of that, holistic meaning, it covers all areas essentially. And I think that is such a big part of interior design. And often when you look at a space, you're like, maybe something's not right, it's because you've not considered all of those elements, which is often what I find when you're looking at interior design spaces.
Got to hit all the touch points.
Yeah, got to hit all the touch points. So I guess people who don't know you, Japandi is a big part of your interiors world.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us about how you've discovered Japandi and how you've now sort of, because I guess would you describe that as your design style?
Not just that. I would describe my style as sort of Scandi minimalism. So I wrote a book last year called The Japandi Home, which was all about the fusion between Scandinavian design and Japanese minimalism. And I'd always had a soft spot for Scandinavian design. When I was an architecture student, I travelled for a month to Scandinavia, spent a week in each country on a sort of a architecture pilgrimage to see all the famous buildings of designers like Alvar Aalto, Arne Jacobsen. So I had a good knowledge of Scandinavian design. I had never been to Japan, so I did a lot of research when I got the commission for the book to ensure that I really understood the background to Japandi. So I think we think of it as a bit of a design trend. Japandi is such a sort of a catchy word.
Yeah.
So when I got the request through from the publisher, I was a bit wary of that because I'm very wary of trends.
Yeah.
Because I don't like fleeting fashions. I want to create something which is timeless, which endures, which lasts, which really is the premise of Scandinavian design. So I did a lot of research into Japanese design, and I found that it's not just sort of a thing of the moment. They have a long history of collaboration and inspiring each other and working together. So back in before the 1850s, Japan was a closed-off country, and it didn't trade with the world, it didn't allow foreign travel, its citizens couldn't travel, and then in the end America forced it to open up to the world. So there was this curiosity coming from Europe of this closed country which had never been seen before. But then going later, the Japanese had to create a design industry. They didn't have a design industry like the Scandinavians did. They also had to trade with the world, and because they were used to a floor-level lifestyle without furniture as we know it, without sort of dining tables and chairs and sofas, they had to really learn from sort of the masters of it, which were the Scandinavians, because they're really well known for craftsmanship and wooden furniture. So the Japanese government sent apprentices over to Scandinavia to learn how their furniture was made. And in turn, they invited Scandinavian designers over to Japan to lecture, teach them how their design craft was made. And then they sort of collaborated and inspired each other. So I love that it's not just something we see now, but it has deep roots going back quite a long time.
Yeah. Well, that's what highlights that it's not a trend, and it is something that is deep rooted into their culture and their design culture, essentially. But I think it's definitely a very, like, I love Scandinavian design as well personally. It's definitely, I resonate a lot with like the Danish kind of mid-century movement. All of that kind of stuff resonates with my design style. So, and I do find that especially in Scandinavian design, as you said, it is quite timeless. That you look back on pictures of like Swedish farmhouses from hundreds of years ago, and you're like, oh, actually, I quite like that piece, and that's because of how well they've designed it. So it does make sense that a country like Japan that just opened up and they needed to go and find inspiration from somewhere, they would choose Scandi, and I think it influences a lot of people, maybe more than they actually realise. So
especially I think as well in Japan, they kind of built their interiors around how they live, and I think that's really evident when you go. I've been to Japan 3 times and I'm obsessed with
jealous.
Japan.
It's on my hit list to go. I'm desperate to go.
I had since been. I couldn't write a book on Japanese design without actually going. So I did go, and I also spent a long time researching in libraries and really geeking out at it, because I just wanted to know the reason behind things and the meaning behind things. And what I also fell for was the values behind Japanese and Scandinavian design. So it's not just that it's a sort of calming aesthetic, which is balances simplicity with rustic warmth, I'd say. But the values behind it, the Scandinavians are one of the happiest countries in the world, right? So they must be getting something right. And I think that's down to their values of connecting with nature, appreciating what they've got, having a really good work-life balance, and that sort of filters through into how their interiors are perceived as well, that it's not just what it looks like, but that it has a more mindful feeling behind it.
Yeah,
totally. And I guess that's exactly what we're talking about today as well, right? Is, the idea of thoughtful design, right? Because the idea is that you are thinking about how this space is going to be used, or, what are you trying to gain from this space? But I guess it sort of goes into this next, segues in quite nicely, about designing calm homes. Why do you think it is, I guess, in this country, or maybe what we see in on social media and stuff, is why do you think there's such a desire for people wanting a calmer home? Maybe it's not just calmer, but more intentional, I guess, as well. Calmer or more intentional. What's your thoughts behind that?
Well, I wrote the book in 2023, 2024, so a couple of years after the pandemic. And I don't think I was alone in this, in noticing how my surroundings affected me, because we were spending so much time at home that you really noticed what worked and what didn't. And I think when the world outside is feeling quite chaotic, confusing, divisive, politically, and sort of ecologically, the planet is looking quite a scary place at the moment. So I think people want to retreat back to their home and find that calm where they're not overwhelmed with the news or the stresses of daily life or the hustle and bustle of living in a city. They can just find that peace and quiet and sort of restore the batteries.
Yeah, no, I totally, I can, COVID, I think, taught so much to so many people, me included. I think there was a time we spoke about this a couple of episodes ago on the podcast, the idea of open plan living and how important that I used to prioritize that personally, because I loved the idea of having an open space, making it feel bigger, I guess, and all of that. But what COVID taught me was I like having separate rooms. I like having separate spaces, because if a worldwide pandemic happens, I want to be able to be in a different room to my husband.
No shade to Chris.
No shade to Chris. But equally, or having that privacy and that kind of, there's something about, like, I think that experience taught us how to use our homes in a different way. And I think it does often go back to this idea of, we do sometimes, because of the busyness of life, we forget how important our surroundings are and how much they can really impact what it is. Like often, like offices and stuff, like when we were on the show together, we designed an office space, and it was in a basement, But one of the things is, designing a space that is supposed to have motivational, inspiring background, and it was grey and in a basement and dark and dingy, and you just think, how can so having that intention behind designing a space, so thinking about the space and thinking what is it used for, essentially.
I used to work in an office with no windows, and it was such a depressing way of life. And then now I work from home, and I have these beautiful sort of crystal style doors which go onto the garden with this green backdrop, and I feel just so much calmer in myself.
I always chat about this. I never understand why people want their workers to go back to an office and their office is the most depressing place. I'm like, at least spend a little bit in your interiors and people might want to come back. But now especially, like, you need to make people want to come back. There has to be a reason for people to get on the tube.
If not, you'll be at home working in your lovely home office, looking at the garden, and you're thinking, I'm not going to work in a basement building.
I don't think I would ever go back to work in an office.
No.
It is. I mean, it's definitely. But I mean, so Lia used to work for Uniqlo, and you were saying that you did all of the staff rooms up, didn't you? And that was similar, right? Because it's got to be a place to hang out. It's got to be
make you want to be motivated to go to work and have that kind of inspiration to be motivated. And if it's a grey, no walls, that would be very weird. No windows.
Then you really would be working outside.
Just no walls anywhere. I'm just going to work outside, all the elements.
Plan living.
That would take bringing the outside in into a whole new level.
Yeah, and the idea of open plan living to another level.
Maybe that would be great, actually. I
mean, I love working outside. I love, similar to what you were saying about the Scandinavians, I love that idea of being connected to nature. It is definitely calming, and just unfortunate that in the UK it rains all the the So I don't know how
it's a good run of warm weather.
Yeah,
I work outside.
Good.
I work outside quite a lot right now. My what's the word? My
rooftop.
I work with the rooftop, but my productivity has gone down a little bit, I would say.
Well, yeah, because you're usually sunbathing with a margarita in hand, maybe.
When I close.
Working.
Working or not working.
No.
No, what's the phrase? Working hard or hardly working?
Yeah. Well, one would define typing an email with a margarita in hand working hard. That's what I would decide.
You decide your own working conditions these days.
But you said, Kate, that you say that you're on the minimalist side of design. Can you maybe help our listeners maybe understand a way that you can, because I think a lot of people, some people anyway, associate the idea of minimalism with maybe stark spaces or cold, uninviting spaces. But that, I would say, I don't think that's true personally. But
nothing on the shelves, nothing on display.
How would you describe, how would you design a space that's minimalist while still being warm, inviting, and I guess homely?
I can't say too much yet, but my next book, which I'm sort of writing at the moment, is kind of on this wavelength.
Ooh, okay. Keep those eyes peeled, guys.
An exclusive here.
I can't say any more than that. But I do really believe that minimalist spaces don't need to be cold and clinical. And I think they do have this perception of beige is boring.
Yeah.
And while sometimes that can be a good thing because it makes you feel safe, it makes you feel calm, maybe some people want their homes to feel a bit boring if they've got a really high-powered job or life feels really overwhelming and then they come home and it's really calming. But I think the calming aspect comes from all the emotional layers you add on top of the sort of bones of a room. So I think lighting is really important, and that can really transform a space, getting the lighting right and having warm, cozy lighting, not like the spotlights or the stark ceiling light. Yeah, don't turn that big light on.
No, I always call it the homophobic big light. It's just, you'll never see it in a gay man's house or a gay lady's house.
No, these aren't lights. No, these are just camera lights.
Yeah, these are to make us look.
These are okay.
We'll allow this because it's making me look pretty, so that's fine.
Yeah, you've got the little light on next to you.
You've got the cozy lights here, but this is the one that makes us look good.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll ignore those ones, really. We won't talk about those. And I guess for Japandi as well, a lot of people think, how do you create a Japandi style living if they say they've got kids or pets. It's like, how do you mix that into something which is meant to be, I guess, very restful and yeah, is there a way to combine both?
Well, I'm a minimalist, but I've got a 5-year-old who loves colour, rainbows,
Oh my
unicorns.
gosh, is that like your worst
pink.
nightmare? You're like, oh, why is it not white? Why is it not beige?
I think she's deliberately probably going against. I think you either sort of reject what your childhood home, or you go with it. And she wanted to paint every door bright pink or every door a different colour. I'm like, no, you can paint anything in your room. You can do whatever you want in your room, but the rest
That's
is
your
pink.
that's your space. You can do what you want with your
This
space.
is your safe space is here.
Yeah.
Mine is everywhere else. Not touching it with the colour.
Although I did see she brought in a stick and she styled the stick, which I love.
Yeah, so I'm always foraging things from outside and bringing them in, and she's really picked up on that. I think kids really pick up on how you curate a space or how you live in a space. And she found this stick in the park and then put it on a shelf. Like, it was a really beautiful stick, and she just arranged it really.
I love that.
Were you kind of like proud and say, you're like, oh my gosh, she's doing it.
She's like a mini me, and she has been picking up on that.
You're like, hopefully the pink doors will be just a
phase. It's just a phase.
And then she did say, oh, there's too much green in this house.
Well,
too
I
much
would
green.
argue you can never have too much green. Green is such a staple colour. I think it's such a... You love green. That's like one of your go-to greens.
I am a green lover. Yep, so many shades, so many different
Also,
tones.
I just find it quite calming. Like, I find it a really relaxing, personally, a relaxing colour. And also reminds you of nature in a room maybe where you can't... If it's a room with no light, or like in our room, for example, in our bathroom, we live in a new built flat, and the bathroom is no windows at all, and it's a new build, so it's all white tiles, and it's just all very one-dimensional. So and you can't really put plants in there because they'll die because there's no windows. So we've lots of pops of green in there because it reminds me of nature, and it sort of brings the outside in, which I love, that connection of what green has an association for me anyway, is nature.
I think that can be really calming. I don't know if I actually answered the question of how you deal with children or
Classic.
We're just keeping the listeners on tenterhooks. They're waiting for the answer.
Still waiting for the answer.
I think it's about getting the function really right. So having plenty of storage where you can hide the things you don't want to see, so you can have the nice things out on display, and then letting go a bit. So I think when you see interiors on Pinterest and Instagram, they look all perfect, and it can create this pressure to live like that as well. But real life isn't like that. And a home is a living, breathing thing which will evolve. And this is something I've had to teach myself, to just let it go a bit. If there's a bit of mess, if there's something on the coffee table that doesn't really matter, it doesn't. And I also want to create a space where I feel like I can relax, that friends feel they can put their feet on the coffee table. And I think you can have the two of simplicity and having something a bit more undone.
Yeah. Almost like the element of unfinished, or the imperfections, I guess, right? Because that's what we see a lot in the world of interiors, is this Pinterest polished version of a room. And then there is a lot of pressure, I think, for all of us, to, and especially on social media, is display your home in the best state possible and show all of your followers how lovely, neat and tidy this room is, that never ever looks like this apart from this one video that you've just watched.
I think people resonate more and they appreciate more when you then show like the before, or like this is what it looked like 5 minutes ago before I took this picture, and then it's the chaos, and then people are like, oh, they actually do live a normal life. Like nobody lives in that perfect polished world.
I did a post on socials a while ago of like the parts of my home that you don't see, and one of them is, somebody named it, one of my followers commented, was like the Monica cupboard. It literally, you open it and it's like Monica's from Friends. It's literally got everything in it, and I'm just like, just close that away. I don't want anyone to look in there. But it does the job perfectly, because that is real representation of life. It's all of that chaos is a part of our life and a part of our home. But I love that I can just close the doors. And
I'm 100% like that. If you look at my home and it's like a swan, on the surface it looks really serene, then look in the cupboard and it's like complete chaos.
Underneath it's like,
just shove it all behind and don't look in there.
Also, don't believe what you see on Pinterest. I went to a really funny talk, and this woman was saying that it was like her toilet, and it was beautiful, but she had this gorgeous paneling behind the loo, and they photoshopped out the flush for the toilet. And then so when the image came out, everyone kept being like, oh my God, that's gorgeous. But like, how do you flush the loo? and she was like, it's fake. Like it's been photoshopped out. Like that's not true. And then it made me question everything I saw in a Pinterest picture afterwards. I was like, is the toilet flush there? Like, is it in the picture?
Where is it?
Like, how do they flush the toilet? And yeah, it really got me thinking after how many people take away those tiny little details that I guess you then think, oh my God, that's been designed to perfection. And actually it's photoshopped to perfection.
But I would like to talk a little bit more about your book, The Japandi Home, if we could.
Yes, of course.
What inspired you to write it? Like, what was the inspiration behind it? Was it your connection and love to the Scandinavian design that led you there?
Well, being very honest, the publisher came to me with the word and was like, we want someone to write a book on Japandi. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. But when I did more research, I was also going through quite a hard time myself. I was going through a separation. Right. And there was something about researching these two very calm aesthetics that helped. It just felt like a really soothing process.
Yeah, therapeutic almost.
Yeah. So beyond the aesthetic of the interiors, I think looking at how we're living today or how we're mindful of our interiors, making the most of what we've got, or just being appreciative of the things we've got, or finding joy and happiness in the little things. So there was this lovely moment where I went to Japan and there was this woman sitting on a bench in a park just as the blossom was sort of starting to fade away, and she was having her lunch of sushi and the blossom was falling down. The light was really beautiful and she was completely in the moment enjoying the sushi, and it just reminded me that in our sort of culture, we speed on through things, we don't appreciate those little things pass us by, and it made me sort of come back to myself and realise that those little things are really important and some of the other grander things aren't so important.
I love that. That is so true, that I think we're all so guilty of being wrapped up in our own life and our own chaos of work, of family, of whatever, loved ones, that we forget to take those moments, almost like for yourself, of like, you know, connecting with whatever that might be, or just sitting in a moment and just sort of being like, okay, I'm going to have my lunch, whatever, I'm going to sit and just, and the idea of, you know, that being such a, I don't know, quite like a soothing, relaxing element, but necessary. I think we all need to do that more. I'm definitely guilty of that. I always power on through and
I think it's a culture thing as well. Sometimes you see a massive mix of it, and I know for me growing up, obviously us being Italian, but like food was so important, and it was like no matter how busy your day was, you stopped and you had lunch or you all had dinner together. And I think especially in the UK we're very guilty of I won't have lunch today, or I'll eat at my desk for 5 minutes. I honestly think my nonna would be outraged if she'd seen me at like my desk having a sandwich. Like really. But it's, as you said, and I think also in Japan it's like that they take those moments and they have them for themselves, and it's kind of like those core things. But I would say in the UK we're the guiltiest ones of rushing through and not taking time for
and I think you can bring those moments into the home as well, so it's not just when you have your lunch at the office, but Japandi sort of celebrates the stillness in things. So it might be that you have negative space around an object or around shelves and not fill your shelves too much, because they would have the idea that the negative space helps frame it and is as important as the object you have out, because it will bring focus to things. Or you can design your space around rituals and have a coffee station where you really take your time in the morning to create your cup of coffee, and you're not just sort of rushing it and going out the house, but you're taking time to appreciate that moment. Or a window seat or a windowsill where you sit and you appreciate the view, and you sort of build those moments into your house where you can pause and stop. And
it's almost like it's encouraging that behaviour, right? And making sure that they become a part of your life. Allowing the home to give that an opportunity. Because I guess maybe I couldn't tell you one space in my house that has got an opportunity like that, apart from maybe the balcony outside where you have to sit. That's designed for that. But like the idea of being within your home and creating those opportunities. It's
Yeah,
really...
you do see now a lot more people creating coffee stations in their houses. I've seen a lot, and it's like those little designated areas, and the coffee machine has its place. Yeah. I would like one of those.
Yeah, I have big dreams for whenever it is I get a new house that we have like a coffee chair. Like somewhere that you like sit and have your morning
Not like
coffee.
a reading, like a reading chair,
just
a
like an
coffee chair.
armchair with a little side table somewhere in the house. That's like a place you just sit and have your coffee, because that's a ritual, right? And that's something that I often am not doing at all. Like I get a coffee, I have a coffee in the morning in bed, and then I'm like, right, off with the day and on, you know. Whereas the idea that you can have a designated space to sit and have, and I love coffee, so for me, I want it to be a part of my everyday. But I need a house that's got a coffee chair option available.
I love that.
So just one more question on the Japandi Home before we move on. If someone wanted to embrace Japandi as a style, what's the first thing that you would tell them to do?
That's a really good question.
She's like, there's many things.
But, you know, is it something as simple as, is it something not even design related? Is it maybe, you know, starting to figure out,
Maybe just have a declutter first and then assess.
we all need a declutter, to be honest.
I think you could integrate the Japandi look by, I don't know, using paper pendants or those typical features which say Japandi. That might be a very obvious way of doing it. Or you could take a more thoughtful, mindful approach where you think about what brings you calm, what brings you stillness, and then designing that in from the beginning and really thinking about it and thinking about how you use your space. That is probably a bit more of a slower way to go around it, but that would be taking the ethos of it, which I think is perhaps more important than just copying and pasting a trend just because you've seen it.
Yeah.
No, I and based off the conversation we've just been having, the idea that you can create those little rituals is not necessarily a bad thing. Let's be honest. I think we could all take that away and do a little bit of that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not you. You're already doing it. I need to do it. That's what I'm saying. Well, we're coming to the end of our chat, but before we let you go, we always ask our guest 5 quick fire questions to do with interiors.
Okay.
And nothing scary.
Okay.
But yeah, you let us know what your answers are to these. I'm very intrigued actually to see.
I think I know what the first one's going to be, but
well, you ask the question. Go on.
Okay. What is your favourite colour?
So surprise, surprise, green.
Perfect.
I think it's become a bit of an addiction, and now I just I can't shake it. And the Scandinavians talk about something called the red thread, which isn't necessarily red, but it just means a continuous element which runs through your home, which helps tie it all together. And it sort of goes from the moment you walk through the front door. It could be a shape, it could be a colour, it could be a pattern. And for me, it's really green, which ties all the neutrals together and helps sort of lift it and add a little bit of colour. I'm not completely opposed to colour. I'm just doing it in a more careful way because lots of colour makes me feel a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that's a very good answer. Great. Okay, well the next question for you is, what is your favourite room in the home?
Well, definitely my extension, which looks out into this garden with a really green backdrop.
It's all connected.
No.
But seeing the nature, seeing the branches, the branches sort of sway in the breeze. Living in a very urban area like Brixton, it is a very soothing space to be in. I added an extension, and before you had to go around a corridor, out a back door, and you couldn't really see the garden, or you could easily forget about it. But now there's just this direct route outside, and it just makes for such a much more calming space.
Just to look at it.
And that connection to nature, which is linking to the green.
Yes.
All very good.
And where is your favourite place to get inspiration from?
I like getting inspiration out and about. So I work from home by myself. I'm very much in my own space. So I get inspiration from everywhere, from a restaurant toilet to a coffee shop to a brick facade to the colour of a door. I'm always taking photos and I think that sort of filters down into interiors, whether it's a choice of colour or a texture you use. So it's not too literal in the sense of an interior and then I sort of replicate it. It's more the texture, the tactility, the material palette, which I'm always looking for when I'm out and about.
Nice, love it.
Beautiful.
Next question is, what is your favourite season at home?
I know there's a connection between seasonal personalities and colour psychology, and like they say that your interior has a season. I think my sort of style would probably reflect summer in terms of the greens and the beiges, but in my home, probably spring, where you can start to open the doors, have that better connection with outside when it's not always raining.
Yeah.
But I like styling with the seasons and changing things up in like really subtle ways, whether it's something you've got on a coffee table. And because my style is quite timeless and the walls are neutral, I like to use everything else as the stuff to tell the
To
story.
switch it up, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I was going to say, I wonder what does Christmas look like in your home? That's what I always...
Well, she's got a green Christmas tree, hopefully.
yeah, well,
That's kind of, yeah, that's easy to do.
yeah, that's easy. But I wonder, you know, like what's a minimal Christmas look like? Do you know what I mean? Because I guess quite Scandinavian.
Yeah.
Maybe that kind of, because they do Christmas well, actually.
Yeah. Christmas sort of stresses me out because there's so much stuff, more stuff in the house.
You're like,
It's like starting to make me hyperventilate or something. But the Scandinavians really go for the cozy hygge vibes of the candlelight, the ambience, the atmosphere, which I can totally get on board.
yeah, I love that. Definitely. And then the final question.
Final question is, what is your favourite piece in your home? So it could be artwork, could be a piece of furniture.
Object.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, I couldn't live without my coffee machine.
Yeah.
Valid.
Yeah. I think I'd be the same, to be fair. Yeah.
100%.
I have a painting which I got for my 30th birthday, which was my first proper painting. So I'd had prints, cheap prints, in my home, but nothing which had ever meant something to me. Yeah. So I think that was really significant. And now I choose to be, I try to be really mindful with what I bring into my home. And so each thing tells a story or has meaning. And then I think it resonates and lasts longer than something. Well, you can still mix high street with like high and low.
Yeah.
But I
You have
like
the
those
emotional connection to the artwork,
exactly,
essentially now.
exactly.
Yeah.
And artwork can do that, can't it? It really.
Yeah, we'd been talking about artwork on another episode and how it's really nice now to kind of support artists and how we can afford, like, art's become so much more affordable as well. So it's getting those things and then they stay with you forever and you have the story of when you bought it and you can tell people about it.
No, I'm a big fan of art, and I love anything that's got a personal connection, whether it be art or furniture or whatever. Some of the pieces in my home that have got the most meaning are the ones that are like, I've got something that was from my granddad's, and like a violin that I hang in the living room as an art piece, but it's his violin that he played, and I'm like, I don't play it. I have no relevance, but I love looking at it because of the connection. So I think there's something about connection as a thing that works in interiors. Well, that was a great little answer to that question.
You've survived your 5 quickfire questions.
Yes, they were easy.
You can relax now in your chair.
Yeah.
Green and more green, basically.
We love green. Well, listen, we have absolutely loved having you on the pod. Thank you so much for coming to be a guest, and we've loved chatting all things thoughtful design. Yes. But if people want to get a copy of your book, where can they buy it?
Amazon, Waterstones, all good bookshops.
All good bookshops will
Yes.
have it. And keep those eyes peeled.
For this new book coming soon.
September
Mysterious.
2027.
Oh my gosh. Are you writing it as we speak?
I've just finished, so I've just handed it in. So it's a relief.
Oh my gosh. I forget how long the lead time must be on things like that. Wow.
That's
Oh my gosh, so
exciting.
exciting. I'm so intrigued to know more.
Yeah, well, everyone will have to follow along to hear all about Cate's new book, which I'm sure she will slowly be releasing information on.
Yeah, right now she's...
Right now, there's no information.
We've tried,
apart
guys,
from there
all
is
right.
a new book coming.
We've tried our best. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming, Kate.
No,
Yes.
thank you. That was such a pleasure. Really nice.
Thank you so much.
Well, wasn't that awesome? I absolutely love Cate, and I love the perspective that she brings. It makes me like question all of my life decisions now, kind of being like, I maybe need to be more intentional about how I do things. And also I love the idea of doing those little rituals, like sitting and having your lunch. We forget about that so often.
It's the little things that make such a big difference to the way we live.
Totally.
Yeah, really interesting conversation and lots to think about.
I'm very excited to get my coffee chair at some point soon and sit and have my morning coffee in my chair.
I'm excited to see it as well. Right.
Watch this space.
Shall we have a look at
Design or divorce?
Design or divorce?
Well, I will say, take it away, Leah.
Doodaloo, doodaloo, design or divorce?
You've nailed it.
Thank you.
Smashed it.
Been practicing a lot.
Yeah, well, you need to, because the theme tune's been a bit here, there and everywhere. I'm not going to lie.
Sometimes I do forget which way it goes, but I think that was on point.
Yeah, I would argue it was.
Thank you. Right. We will take a listener from this week with a dilemma.
Okay.
And see if we can help them out.
Yeah, okay. See if we can solve a divorce today.
Who have we got?
We've got Elle in Surrey. Hi, Elle.
Hello, Elle.
And she says, I love the calm, uncluttered look of Japandi. It's almost like she knew. But my partner loves displaying souvenirs, books, and collections. How do we create a home that feels peaceful without asking them to hide everything they love?
So, sorry, it came to me
Yep,
straight
go.
away. Actually, I was going to take exactly what Cate said, and it's you can still appreciate those things, but make sure there's the negative space around it. So, yes, he can still have his 3 books out. Or maybe he just reduces the collection that's visibly on show.
Maybe he's got 10 books he wants to put out. And you say, honey, you got to have 3.
You can pick 3 and they frame a shelf.
Yeah, true.
So I would say I'm stealing Cate's guidance.
Listen, absolutely. And if you want to steal more of her guidance, read the Japandi Home.
Or buy Cate's book.
That's it.
And you'll be able to
plug in your book, Cate. Buy it.
You'll be able to answer this question yourself, Elle.
But yeah, it's true. I resonate with what Cate was saying there, that the art of the negative space is actually sometimes more important than...
Sorry, I just yawned right in your face. The Japandi in me has just made me very, very sleepy.
You're taking the art of being present and just
napping.
Yeah, that's something that's part of your life. Sorry, Elle, we're back to you now. Now Leah's had a little power nap in the corner over there. But yeah, I think, you're right. I think taking... She does this all the time to me, so I wouldn't be offended.
I do think I have something wrong with me. Sometimes
Narcolepsy.
I just can't stop yawning, and it's not that
Leah Gold, narcoleptic interior designer.
Now I'm going to do it again because you brought it to my attention. Now everyone's going to be looking for me yawning.
So we just cover her face with the cards.
I'm actually going to speak like this now for the rest of the episode.
But yes, I would say go for the negative space and let's just condense down all of the things.
Maybe it's pick out a few favourites. So it doesn't need to be all of it. And I think that's where you get the balance. It's like on a compromise. Yeah, we can put out some of your items, maybe not all of them. So do you have a favourite?
Yeah.
And then the other ones can go in a drawer and hide away and keep out the favourite ones.
Yeah. Or the ones that look the nicest. But yeah, I think we've only got time for one today because we had so much chat with Cate.
Yeah, we had
But
very
if
good
you've got any
conversation.
design dilemmas that you want to send in to us, then please do. And you can message us on socials at Til Design Do Us Part with your design.
us.
Yes.
DM away. Send us pickies as well. We like when we get pickies. It's very helpful.
Yes, or a voice note. We should get a voice note one. That would be cool.
Ooh.
I think our producer and videographer might be fuming at how we figure getting that in there. But we'll work it.
Yeah, they're magicians, really.
But that concludes really another great episode of the pod. I mean, I was so interested in hearing what Cate had to say about minimalism and the Japandi style of living.
Yeah.
And I do think that actually I'm going to take a lot of that away and think about how, we live and really take that into consideration when designing going forward.
It's so good to have another perspective because I'm someone who designs always full in colour and pattern, and then you get another view.
But I would say about like you and Cate, obviously you have such different styles, but I can see quite a lot of that, like especially with your Italian heritage, like designing with intention, and designing with
the rituals
like
well.
food and eating and socializing, and that is something that's similar, I guess, in the Japanese culture of how you live and how you sort of create those rituals. So
Absolutely.
even though you've got different styles, honey, you've got that Japandi element in there.
We're still there somewhere.
But Kate, if you want to give Kate's book a read, The Japandi Home, you can buy it wherever good books are sold, and you can give her a follow on social media. I think it's Cate St Hill, her Insta handle. But until the next week, you can give us a follow on all of our social channels, Til Design Do Us Part, YouTube, Til Design Do Us Part, anywhere you get your podcasts, Til Design Do Us Part.
Yes.
Have you got the memo yet? Til Design Do Us Part?
That is the name of the podcast. Fantastic.
But we're still married.
Another week. We're still staying strong.
Boom. Tick.
Done. Well, until next time, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Til Design
Do Us Part.
Bye.
Ciao.